What is going on, you guys? I'm coming to you today with a build a little different than I have used before. This one is using Ryan Kingston's fleet builder like usual, but I am changing it up a little bit. I'm going to do a Konstantine build today, designed specifically to make one upgrade in particular work. So the centerpiece of this build is going to be Victory 2. There's going to be a pair of Victory 2s. And they're going to have certain upgrades. Basically, the key is quad battery turrets. And the whole kind of synergy with this build is to make quad battery turrets work more reliably than they would normally work. So the Victory is good because it has, it's a medium ship. So you can take disposable capacitors, right? So you can get a lot of dice at long range. But even when you don't have disposable capacitors, you can still roll blue dice at long range here with quad battery turrets. And why that's nice is you could do a couple of things. You could do leading shots, which would be, which would work. You get that blue die at long range. You can do leading shots, but we're gonna go with a heavy ion emplacements, and that is going to give us, first off, it's going to give us 4 blue dice, 5 if we ever concentrate fire, but generally 4 blue dice, and it's going to give us a really good chance to get that crit. Like, it's almost a guaranteed blue crit. Here. Now, and since you're running more blue dice than red dice, your damage is going to be fairly consistent. You also have fairly consistent accuracies here, so it's pretty darn good dice. That being said, of course, we're going to maximize this with gunnery team. Well, mostly maximize those. Heavy ions can only be used once, but at least we're going to get multiple shots. So in case for some reason our first ship we don't trigger heavy ions, and we'll definitely trigger it on the next shot. Now these two are going to be the same, but they're going to have some other things. But that's the base. This is the basic foundation of this. It's going to have, since we're running Konstantine, we're going to have 2 victories. We're going to have a lot of medium ships. I'm taking advantage of disposable capacitors here. Now Konstantine's going to go on an Interdictor. Now there's been, no real secret that the suppression refit is generally the best Interdictor. Although lately I kind of can see some more options for taking the combat refit, just because if you wanted to do something like disposable capacitors, if that shot was obstructed, the suppression refit wouldn't even be able to take the shot. So it's, it's a little harder to even get that first shot with the suppression refit if it's an obstructed shot, whereas the combat refit can still get that from almost every angle. So I can see that being a possible option for this guy, but not doing a combat refit today. There's there's builds for that, and maybe I'll explore that in a future video. So the suppression refit is going to be our flagship. We'll put Konstantine on there. So the thing is, at the start of each status phase, for each enemy ship at distance 1 to 5 of at least 2 friendly medium or large ships, you may increase or decrease that enemy ship's speed by 1 to a minimum of 1. So basically we're going to use this to speed up their ships, or at least make sure that they're faster than we are. Victories, again, very easy to go speed 1 with victories, because they don't have much speed anyway. But one of the things we want to do is maybe we'll want to increase their speed, but I want to use G8 to not bring them in too close, right? Or in case a black dice ship does come in, that we can really slow them down. Somebody's trying to get into close range of us. We don't really want them in close range. I mean, honestly, you could make an argument for Vic 1s. You really could. But then I wouldn't have all this fun stuff. Granted, you could still put quad battery turrets there. I don't want to do that. Certainly an option, though. And I'm going to do targeting scrambler in case I do want to speed somebody up and bring them on in, then I can target scramble them. And of course we'll add Interdictor titles, since that's always nice for this. There's options for all these other upgrades as well, but I'm going to save those for points, just because I kind of want the extra points for some squadrons. Since I'm only running 3 ships, it's I want to have some extra points left over for squadrons. But I also want some crew on these victory. I want some officers. One of the things I want, and this is a fun one, is I want one of them to have the Grand Inquisitor. And the Grand Inquisitor has great synergy with this quad battery turrets. When an enemy ship at distance 1 to 5 changes its speed, you may exhaust this card to increase or decrease your speed by 1. If maybe I'm first player, let's just say, and you're already coming in at speed 1, okay, or maybe you know, maybe you're close, right? If I want to do Konstantine, adjust your speed, that's gonna, I mean, as far as the way it's worded, it doesn't, you know, when the ship changes its speed, Grand Inquisitor I can make my ship go down to speed 0 temporarily, kick in quad battery turrets, then spend a nav token to speed back up before you get a chance to take advantage of me being at speed 0. So I like that idea. Plus, it just gives me a lot of flexibility when it comes to quad battery turrets. If I have to speed up for whatever reason, or if you do slow down to speed 1, I can then, you know, if you come at me and then slow down to speed 1, I can then just turn to speed 0, then activate, get my blue die, then speed back up to speed 1. So definitely in this build, I would want to be doing some nav tokens early, just to keep the nav token on hand in case I need to reduce to speed 0. And I think a really good solid option for this other guy is to put Titus on this one. I can change somebody's speed by 1. So, and this also has some synergy as well, because if we, and we're gonna do this, if we end up with, oh, you're gonna like this, we're gonna go with maybe, yes, fleet ambush. If we start really close to somebody, because we're gonna have fleet ambush as one of our objectives, if we start really close, we can potentially start somebody at speed 0 and then start taking shots at them. They can't spend their defense tokens. Because this one doesn't have, Titus is one of those few cards that doesn't actually have the minimum of 1. So that much is pretty cool. So you can actually shut somebody down to speed 0. So Titus is there to potentially break up the fleet for how they're deploying in. If you do have like an MC-30 coming in at speed 4, you can try to start slowing them down. They're gonna go fast anyway. But between Konstantine and G8 and Titus, you can probably slow them down a little bit, depending on where they put them. You know, you can do a lot of slowdown. Like if somebody, let's say you do ambush zone, somebody starts out close to you, even if they start out like a demolisher, for example, you know, you can Konstantine slow him down if he starts at speed 3, slow him down to 2. Titus, you slow him down to 1. Well, Titus slow him down to 2. Konstantine slow him down to 1. G8 lock him in place. You know, really shut down that demolisher bonus if somebody tries to come in close to you. So I think fleet ambush, it'd be a really, really bad option for somebody to choose in this case, because you can really, you know, you can really hurt them. And if they do get close, that's what targeting Scrambler and Interdictor is for as well. So let's look at, but we're not done with the build yet. Let's do Squadrons. I am going to go with kind of effective and kind of cheap. Let's do 2 fire sprays and 2 TIE fighters. Now this puts me at 405, which is different than I had originally come up with. So I need to figure out, where did I go wrong? Let's see, I got 2 Victory 2s, Interdictor, Suppression Refit, Grand Inquisitor, Admiral Titus, Konstantine. Well, in one tab, this exact same build says it's $3.99. As I did my little prep, target Scrambler G8. Oh, I figured it out. It wasn't G8. I put G7 on my other one, which then would have put me down below 405. So in that case, we'll drop that. I can put those in there. That's 407. No, we won't. All right. So now we have to do some on-the-fly thinking, because my pre-build, where I plan all this stuff out ahead of time, was messed up. So we could drop Interdictor title, possibly, since we're going to keep people from getting too close. Or we could just change up the Squadrons a little bit. Let's put Interdictor title back on there. Make it 1 fire spray and 2 TIE fighters. That puts us to 387. Really strong bid for first player. Put another TIE fighter, 4 TIE fighters, and that puts us at 395, which gives us a reasonable build. So we can do some flexibility that way. I like having just the fire sprays with Rogue and Bomber, because this is just a little extra harassment in case your Vics can't get it done. But, you know, there's some flexibility there. So we're still 395. Let's go ahead and look at objectives here. So, advanced gunnery, not going to be a super great option because I've got gunnery team on both of the victories, so kind of don't necessarily want to do that. I think station assault is a good one. You can kind of dictate where the battlefield is going to be, and that's basically what we want here. We want to be able to tell where people are going to go, and so I like that. Targeting beacons actually could be kind of nice here, since it doesn't give my opponent anything. It just gives me rerolls, kind of like targeting beacons. Because I got a decent amount of red dice with nothing to really mitigate them. But I'm gonna go station assault. I want to be able to pick where we do some fighting. And for navigation, we'll go ahead and probably go with Solar Corona. Now, since we do have station assault here, I could drop something like maybe targeting scrambler or whatever for a different interdictor thing to mess with terrain, but I think that takes away from the point. Interdictors are good for multiple reasons, and this one is really here just to support the Konstantine, to quad battery turrets, to heavy ion emplacements, triggering off of victories. So hopefully we'll be able to totally drain their shields as they come in, and then by the time they get in, then that interdictor is actually doing pretty good damage, especially if the interdictor can line up the double arc. And that is the build, guys. I used a little bit of this in my latest battle report, which will be going up soon, is going up early for Patreon subscribers, in a giant 1,200 point battle report. So definitely be sure to check that out, and you know, look for good news for Armada, hopefully coming out of Gen Con in only a few more days. So all this is coming up. Let's go ahead and put up a print thing, and I'll put a link to Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder in the description below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com, as well as if you want to check out Discord, and if you'd like to support me on Patreon as well. We have a big thanks to all of those who are doing that, and I will hopefully be able to get some Gen Con promos as giveaways, which will be going to Patreon people as well, and I will be starting another giveaway here very, very soon as I figure out what the heck I'm going to give away this time. I think it's probably going to be a solo Blu-ray. So once I get those details, I'll probably look for that in the next video. And all it takes to enter any of those giveaways is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.